Hello, you guys. I'm Carlos again. Levi is out because he couldn't record his a couple weeks ago. He was under the weather, so sorry for that. Levi, I'm my fellow Holy Chatter, but I found Holy Chatters anew. And could you remind our to the hordes of viewers your names, please?
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
I'm Kloe.
All right, so they are certified young people.
Certified young person.
So last week, we talked about just an array of things about being young, have faith, community, and the importance of it, and the importance of community, developing faith, and all this kind of thing. You can watch the whole thing. It was great. It was, I mean, because come on. But today we're gonna talk about something that Rebecca talked about in Chloe about being sometimes Christianity seems that it is seems to be at times, or the ones I don't know if I want to say this, but sometimes the ones that get the most media seem to be brothers and sisters who are kind of black and white, right? There is one thing to do it and not the other, and there's a lot of therefore they receive a lot of attention because it is like very like confrontational at times even. And there are other expressions of Christianity that they are more like, I don't know the word mellow, but there's more comfortable with the gray areas, would you say? So today we want to explore, let me throw this away. Yes, this is not anymore matter. So today we're going to explore, there's a saying, probably you have heard it, we are Bible believers, right? And what that means is that whatever says in the Bible, that's what it is, right? And there is, as I said, that's what it is. But there is a lot of things that the Bible say that we don't necessarily practice. Um, and there, as I said, there is a different variations and flavors of Christianity, right? There are spicy Christianities, bland Christianities. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, okay. So today we're gonna talk about these kind of gray areas and murkiness that maybe we can get out of this alive. So with that in mind, let's give it for instance. Let me get a trustworthy.
Consulting the text. Here we go.
Yeah, revised English. So let us see. This will be a good one. This will be a good one.
One debt to society later.
We know the Bible by heart, right?
Yep.
We didn't need Google by any means. So anyway, if you
We
go
were in the right ballpark.
we were around there.
Close.
We were so close. Anyway, so talking about gray areas. So in 1 Timothy 2 verses 11 and on says the following. And it is my version. I'm reading the New International Version, right? And we have three different versions here of Bibles, and even one in Spanish. So if you are wanting to read, anyway, a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over a man. She must be silent. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. Then Adam was not the one deceived. He was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety. So, childbearing. I mean, I'm talking to two women in leadership that preach and teach men, and we are part of a denomination that ordains women and they're in leadership. So, what do you think about this again on the, on that sense of we read the Bible. We're Bible believers. We are Bible believers,
Mm-hmm.
but yet we do things that differently. That what is what do you think about this?
I think context is very
Context.
important.
We love context.
Yeah, and that probably women in this time did not preach and teach, and that's probably why they wrote this. But that we've evolved further in society, and now women do a lot of different things that they didn't do in this time, and so knowing that, reading the text is really important. So
one of the things I've seen people talk about this passage is that they weren't permitted to necessarily teach and preach a lot because a lot of them couldn't read as well as a lot of the men, so they couldn't study the scriptures as well. And so it was like there was just a lot of confusion, or like they were asking lots of questions in which they had a lot of fervency to learn, but weren't necessarily fully equipped at the time to teach the way. I think it's much easier to equally equip men and women these days. So that's something I've seen people talk about with this passage, with the context of they weren't being taught how to read as much as men were, which would make it hard to teach if you couldn't read the material.
Yeah.
So
he says there where somewhere in there.
Because then you also have Jesus, first person he talks to and says, "Hey, I'm alive and it's all wonderful," is a woman. And she's the first one to get to go spread that gospel message. So to me also, actions speak louder than words, where it's how many times do we see women getting to be in leadership and doing things like that in the Bible versus this passage that has this one-off, women should be quiet type of thing. So
right. So all this to say is that I think that there is the variety, or again, sometimes from the outside, if you're a person who is not much in contact with church people, religious institutions, that kind of thing, from the outside, we all maybe look the same. The church is a church, wherever you go. But in reality, there is a variety of expressions of Christianity that are out there that make this flavor of Christianity different. Is it better? Is it better one or the other? I think not. Right? I think it's just that way that fits you better. But in that sense, also, I don't think there's a hierarchy either, right? Of which one is best expression or the other. Would you say that, or what are your thoughts on that? If you have any thoughts, if not, we can edit this too.
I don't know. I guess it gets. Sometimes people like to think of a hierarchy in the sense of Catholicism has been around a lot longer than other denominations and stuff, and you have denominations that aren't denominations; they're just non-denominational.
That's true.
Almost their own thing, which is kind of funny because then they kind of would be a denomination in a way, but
don't tell them.
they don't want that title. That's okay. They don't have to claim that. But
they are.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a hierarchy, but sometimes people might think of it just based on historical, what's been around longer type of thing. But
established in,
Yeah, I really think it is just whatever flavor you like the best, and what fits best to your ideas and spiritual needs.
So, but I think that then there is a inherent danger, wouldn't you, maybe, to claim that one is better, or saying you were wrong.
Yes.
I mean, just let's just go, as you're saying, historically, pan out a little. I mean, we have done that in the 1500s when the Protestants and Roman Catholics say, well, I don't like you, well, I don't like you either. And they split, and then not only they don't like each other, but then they start to kill each other.
Yeah.
Because you're wrong, or you're wrong, or you're wrong, right? And I think that we are, in many ways, we are back, no, not back, but we are arguing about things today, seems like also in an ugly way. What do you say?
Yeah.
I think a lot of denomination stuff goes back to finding the balance between having an individual and a communal faith life.
Oh,
you need to have a communal faith life that is with individuals whose individual faith looks closer to yours.
Mhm.
I think that's generally how people end up in the places that they find, is you found a community that kind of has very similar individuality
Mhm.
faith expressions.
Mhm.
That it's also really cool if you can find a place that has different individuality faith
Mhm.
stuff, but that's rare, hard to come by, but a cool place.
It is. And so we the way we go about it as United Methodists, and again, not because we are promoting one or the other, really, it's just how we go about it, about things. It is that we use the scripture, yes, as the foundation for trying to understand our faith in Jesus Christ, but we just say, well, we're just going to read it. We use a reason, right? We use in critical elements such as history and anthropology and all sciences that are available to us to understand. Like you were saying about women, well, they were not. That's a historical fact. In context, we go into the linguistics and translate and everything, that kind of thing, right? And many other disciplines that we use. We also use tradition, which is the wisdom of the past. Sometimes they're not as wise as people think, right?
Yeah.
But we use them nonetheless.
Yeah.
We listen to them, and I think that Christianity is not a vacuum. Or our expression, it is not created in a vacuum, right? As you were saying, even non-denoms uh, will follow a creed, even though, or anybody will follow the creed, even if we do not explicitly say that we follow a creed. We have a set of beliefs that every Christian believes, right?
Yeah.
Christ, um, born in Bethlehem, born in Nazareth, many miracles.
Yeah.
Died on a cross, resurrected on the third day, and sent us to make disciples. I mean, fully God, fully human.
Yeah.
So every denomination, no matter who you Christian are, that's it. Everybody believes that.
Yeah, we really often have way more in common belief-wise than we do have differences. But
I think in these little things, like, it's where, yes, I agree. So we use the wisdom of the past, we call it tradition, and we also use our experience. And it is how we feel and makes us tick, make us happy, excited about it. Right?
Yeah, I think that's especially important in this passage too. Is like, I think a lot of times when I talk to people who maybe don't believe of women, leading and whatnot, I am always like, well, I feel that I have a call to ministry, and it would feel really terrible if you had a call to ministry, and I was like, that's not valid. And so I think that becomes really important in your experience in these kind of situations.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I have a call phone. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Who you are?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did God tell you that?
Yeah, exactly. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, so all this to say is, I guess, to wrap it up, so that I know that you guys need to go on to your more important things than this thing today. So there are many flavors, and the one is not probably better than the other. Not probably, they're not better than the other. It's just what fits, and hopefully you can be challenged as well, as you're saying, getting out of your comfort zone, just a little bit at a time. Even though the comfort zone is there for a reason. But anyway, anything else that you want to conclude with this important message for anybody?
Hope you find a flavor that suits you.
Fits you.
That was easy.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Later.
you.
Bye.